Proverbs 3. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eye. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel, and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. Our word today is direct. Direct has so many great examples that I'm sharing most of them to get the point driven home. Direct means extending or moving from one place to another the shortest way without changing direction, or stopping, straight, undeviating, unswerving, non-stop, unbroken, uninterrupted, without intervening factors or intermediaries, face-to-face and personal. And the best one of all that I found was control the operations of, manage, or govern. Administer, manage, run, control, govern, conduct, handle, be in charge of, be in control of, be in command of. Amazingly, this morning, I woke up way early and in the spirit realized that I had planned to share in scripture wasn't what God wanted. I prayed and said, God, let me know as I close my eyes to sleep a little longer what you want me to learn from and share. Proverbs 3 came to me in song this morning, and as I was dreaming about walking in church, being directed closer to the front, appearing before this grand piano. Wow. I know what the scripture tells us. I normally share something on the trusting part, but he said direct, and I noticed that I was being directed in this dream. I yielded myself to not be guided in my own understanding, but in that of God's. In my taking the time to first say, I'm not going to go in my direction. I'm going to pray to you and ask you. And I stopped and I said, you direct me. And as I closed my eyes, that's exactly what he did. Wow, how sweet it is that all I did was say, Lord, you show me, and what you want, I will follow. And I know it's something we believe we all do at all times, but it's easy to get off track. Because I was intentional in seeking him, inviting him in, and praying, he intentionally showed up and was there and gave complete direction. I can't speak for others but for me. But I'd become systematic in movement. And though the words of the Lord were coming out of my mouth, my actions weren't always aligning. And then I'd have to come back and repent and get right back in line again. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But if I stop and be intentional in asking and seeking direction before every turn, life would be so much smoother, and the territory to possess the land for the kingdom would be so much broader. So thankful for his visitation today with me in my sleep. What do you need to stop, ask, and pray about today before you continue for direction? You may be amazed how quickly he comes if only you invite him in to lead you and to guide you. I truly was reminded and in awe of what he granted me, and I pray that he grants the same awe by acknowledging him in everything to be free and clear on the direction I go, day by day. Great day, beloveds. With love, hugs, and mwah, kisses. Yes, fellowship, agape-filled kisses. I come to you again, ready to hear and share another beautiful winning story from an overcomer from a winning place in our world. I do ask that you keep me lifted in prayer as my body is aching and in pain, but I'm yet here and pressing in to win with you. Today's guest is a beautiful mother, wife, as well as a businesswoman. She has a winning story of ups and downs, twists and turns, and she's chosen to share her experiences. So let us welcome Kristina.
Hello.
Hello, Kristina. How are you?
I'm doing great, Shermanda. Thank you so much. And it's such a pleasure to be here today. And I appreciate that prayer that you did. And I appreciate all that you do for the other people and letting other people's voices to be heard. And I also wanted to say a big thank you to Sophie with her laughter mindset and Bob.
Yes.
And their motivation and how they connected me to you so I could speak out my winning stories. It's a big pleasure and honor to be here.
Well, I am honored and I am blessed, and I'm so thankful for them because they are definitely connectors and have helped and guided so many people in my path to be able to hear their stories as well as allow them to be a part of the movement. And I thank you for saying yes.
Oh, thank you so much. And Sophie was like a light shine into my heart. What actually she touched, and just everything started lining up in a greater way than ever before. So connecting with you, it's amazing. So certainly would like to talk about the things we win in world.
Yeah. Tell us where you're from.
Oh, yeah. As for me, I'm originally from Russia. I'm coming from a little small family containing of my mom and me and my grandma, who celebrated her birthday, 83 years old, 2 days ago. Where I'm coming from, as I've mentioned a little bit in that book, is that the people there very conservative, very strict, pretty much limited in their beliefs. I did not have father or any guidance for me to be able to develop myself because my mom had to go to work a lot and my grandma was working as well. My dad left us when I was a very little girl. With that said, I had to stay with the other families every now and then because this is how it happened. I had no one to stay with. And while I was staying with the other families of my mom's friends or my grandma's friends, I got to learn so many things about them. It's not just saying hello and goodbye. It's about pretty much living with them in that environment where they're at and seeing what's going on in each and every family. That was amazing. I was making a lot of observations and what probably helped me to grow more. I was English teacher back in my country, and I was excited and thrilled to be transferring the best knowledge I can to my children. At that time, I opened a business of English teacher of independent business. So I wanted to go to America and to learn directly the language and directly the culture so I could transfer it to my children there and be the best. But as you know, I came here with $250 in my pocket. You've heard my story, right?
Yes, I have. Well, you know what? Before you go into coming to America, I would like the audience to hear about how you made it to the university.
That's right. I didn't know where to go to study, and it was very hard decision. But I did felt that I wanted to live somewhere in America. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to speak that language. For some reason, I was drawn to English my whole life. And I was studying at school. I wasn't the best one at school. I had challenges, but my mom motivated me. She said that, Kristina, you know what? Just push it harder and see where you could achieve. And I was studying in one of the best universities in Russia, and I happened to be the best one in the class. I apologize for my accent here.
No, don't apologize. It's beautiful.
Thank you for your understanding.
It's a part of the winning world. This is what it's all about. We want to hear from people from everywhere. You're just making it happen.
So thank you so much. So what happened was that I had to shift my beliefs from I cannot to I'm going to be the best.
And you had friends that said that you couldn't do this, right?
Oh, yes. That's the biggest part at school because I wasn't doing so well. I had many people telling me that I can never do this because I wasn't one of the best at school. And this university is very upscale, so they have high standards, and I would never be able to pass.
Yeah, but you were motivated. It motivated you. There was a fight in you.
Cheers to that, Shermanda. Cheers to that. I don't know where that belief came from, but I think because it came from my heart. Yeah. I always was drawn to English, and I had a deeper purpose. I wanted to transfer that experience to children, but that's what I was driven by. I wanted to become a better version of myself for others. And I did enter that university, what was the hardest, and so I said hi and high five to those who told me that I never could do it. And I was very, very happy and proud of that achievement. Yeah. And thanks to my mom. And you know what? One of the biggest influencers was this girl in the kiosk at my 7th grade at school. I never forgot that day when Britney Spears was becoming famous that time, just back then. Mm-hmm. And she used to be one of my favorites, and my friend told me, Kristina, Kristina, you like Britney Spears. Do you know that you could be her? I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, yeah, you just do what she does and you will be her. And this resonated in my mind for years. And I think that was actually what helped me to push through as well, to enter that university and be one of the best students there.
And then it comes to where you actually make this transition to come to America. So with $200 in your pocket. So tell us about that.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
One of the things I look back and thinking, how did I do it? This is no way. So at university, I was provided with an opportunity to go to America and improve. So my mom didn't have much money, and I was working part-time jobs as much as I could. So all we had was to pay for the program and have $250 in my pocket for me to arrive to the United States. That's all I had. Back then, if you were to translate that money, that would be a week of the hotel, 3-star hotel stay in Orlando, Central Florida. So if you think about it, in a strange country, that's a little bit scary. And especially, I don't know what happened. I had my job opportunity, but it didn't work out at the last minute in North Florida. So I came to Orlando with my friend, and I decided to take this opportunity to see if I could find a job. I did not know that I had to get Social Security number and lots of other things. I was just, okay, here I am, close to Disney. And I was staying with my friend in the hotel first until her manager found out that I'm not working in that place and I shouldn't be staying there. So here's me walking outside with my luggages looking for the apartments. And because I studied British English, the apartments are called flats, and people couldn't understand me. They thought I was looking for flip-flops when I was asking for apartments, calling them flats.
Flats. Oh, my goodness, the shoes.
Right, because British English, that's a little bit different, and I didn't know, so it was very interesting.
So did they send you to a shoe shop?
They did. They sent me to the shoe shop. They sent me to the gift shop, and I came in there, and I said, hello, where could I find flats? And this nicest lady, she brought me to the aisle with the beautiful flip-flops with Mickey Mouse and Goofy. Okay.
Wow.
I thought it was a good beginning. But I did not give up because I was looking for the jobs. I needed to find accommodations and jobs. And I met somehow, in the middle of the day, I met this Russian girl who helped me out with the hotel, with accommodations. And that worked out from that day for me, help out to find a job and so forth. It wasn't easy. It was very scary. After that, I kept looking for the jobs, and I found one in downtown Central Florida after week probably search. Mm-hmm. So what happened was that I didn't know English so well, American English so well. I was speaking British English, and I had my first order in that restaurant because I was a waitress there. And that first order was interesting. You remember that story?
Yes.
Right? When the couple of the people from the banks in downtown Orlando came in, they made an order, and I got it all correctly except of the one. One of them was, he asked me to bring a salad with a Caesar dressing on her side. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, in British English, dressing is a dress, dresser, dress up. So I'm thinking, it must be some dress I'm supposed to wear to serve that special salad. Oh, gosh. So I go in the kitchen and I give them an order. And I say, where could I find that special dress to serve that salad? That's Caesar's dress of the Caesar, something like that. And they were laughing. They were laughing at me. They sent me to the other waitress. I told them about it, and they were laughing at me too. Oh, wow. So I decided, okay, I'm not going to take this time away from these people. So I went back. I said, excuse me, is it okay if I serve you that salad without that dress? Oh, my God. That was so funny. But yeah, obviously it took me a while to readjust to find out that, this is dressing. In British English they call it sauce. So my job manager, he in fact unfortunately he had to let me go because he said my English wasn't there yet, and he didn't want to take those chances, which I didn't give up,
Yes,
it was
yes.
tough. But I just kept it positive. I kept going. I believed in the things what didn't exist. I believed that I could do it, and my English is better than anyone ever anyways, even though it may not be was, but at that time, that's what helped push through all these challenges. And I finally found that job in the buffet where I was able to start off very good and get my social security, everything together in once. It was amazing. I'm very appreciative to those people who gave me a hand in those hard situations.
And what was happening when life happened? What was it that happened that caused, your world to go upside down?
The life happened many times in my life. I believe that's what made me believe that continue learning about myself. So me and my husband, we reflect on each other and get better. But what helped me, what was interesting, one of the biggest challenges I had to overcome in life was cheating and forgiving. My husband had cheated on me in the first years of the relationships, and he was very afraid to tell me that because he loved me and he cared for me. He didn't want to hurt me. But later on, he told me about everything what happened, and I started finding out why is that the person loves me so much would do things like that. That didn't make any sense. But what was interesting to me is that because through my life I met so many families and I got to see their relationships and the foundations of it, I started questioning the reality. I started questioning maybe the beliefs that we have may not be the right ones. What if we could just look at it from the other perspective? And I started doing the research on the science, on the DNA, and I found out that the men and women are different according to their DNA. So that growing process, that studies of understanding of the science, that's what helped me to overcome one of these biggest challenges of forgiving and accepting my husband for who he is and moving on with life and even creating it more, transforming that energy into the excitement energy and become honest with each other, where we don't need to hide things. We could talk about anything and being able to handle anything.
And I know you all went through that hurdle and you made it through that. And I mean, I know it's blossoming, to a whole nother place now. But one of the things that was quite interesting to me was when you were still going through this, you decided to flip the script and say, I'm going to be a part of the conversation. So you place yourself in the midst of his conversation with the young lady.
Yes, that was. So that's an interesting thing you brought to my attention. I'm glad you asked that. So it's true. One of the things what I found out, to be open-minded, it's just to accept the things what's coming to you and look at them and accept them the way they are. So I became friends with my husband's ex-girlfriends, and I found out that, we could actually adapt to each other. We could actually make it an amazing team because he found something in those girls, something I possibly don't have. So I switched that. Switched that perspective into something what we could grow from all together.
But it ended up where it made them very uncomfortable, made the lady uncomfortable, right?
That is correct.
And they ended up dropping away.
Well, yes, when I was in Russia, my husband that we just were going in the beginning of the relationship,
right.
He opened the modeling agency and he was living with the models in my home. in our home. One of them was in my bedroom. They moved my stuff, and she was driving my car, and I came in home, and I see this beautiful ladies. But the good news, my husband warned me about it. So he told me that, hey, there is a girl I fell in love with. She reminds me of you very much. And I'm like, wow, okay, what do I do with that now? So I go home. I decided, I'm just not going to move them anywhere. I'm just going to let them stay in the house and watch what's going to happen. The worst case scenario, I don't think there could be even worse than that anymore. Let me see what happens. And then guess what? My husband turned around himself. And he said, you know what? I actually understood that I love my wife more than anyone. And you girls, I like you too. You're my good friends. But I'll drop you off home because this is love of my life and this is who I want to be with. And you helped me to understand that. So this is how it went. And I didn't expect that turn myself. And then I started studying and discovering more in a scientific level what caused that. And it's just amazing. That's what my book is all about, what I'm writing right now.
Yes. Well, I listened to your story, and I had never in my life heard of anything like it. And like I said, I know you all now are carrying out in your winning, as one. And you also have a real estate business as well together, correct?
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in real estate over 10 years, and this new home real estate job is so exciting. I am just so pleased to making people's dreams come true and help them out. This is very exciting.
So, what were some of your influencers? Who influenced you? I know it's one of those things you've kind of learned along the way, and it's amazing. Like I said, hearing your story and seeing how God turned that whole situation around and how you handled it. Like I said, I've never heard of anyone handling it the way you did, but it was a learning process, but it ended up, to God be the glory, being something where God allowed him to align himself so that he could be with his wife, with his family. And you were that wife that, just stood the test of time in there, trusting, to make it through, which you did. But, what were some of the aspects around your life that allowed you to even get to the point of doing that? I mean, were you praying to God? What was taking place?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have to say thanks to my mom and her friend. I think they motivated me very much. She had, there was a friend she was with very, very long time. They're best girlfriends. And every now and then I get a chance to be with them as well, and it was nice. And when I told them this story, I was crying. I was devastated. When I was in Russia, I found out that my husband has a girlfriend and he lives with her. I was crying for 24 hours probably. But then I went and I talked to my mom and her friend, and they said, Kristina, it's okay. Just go home. That's your house. It's all right. Those girls, they will move. They're not going to go anywhere. It was so easy for them to say this, but I accepted that ease in my heart. And I think because I accepted that ease in my heart, I went off with the ease as well. I didn't have any expectations. I really didn't. Whatever was coming my way, I was open and I was prepared for the worst. So, but my curiosity was so huge to see what would happen if we do something different, totally out of the world. And thank God I've gotten amazing, amazing results. And you're right, my husband turned around himself, and I didn't have to beg him. I didn't have to remove the text messages of the girlfriends. How most of sometimes men, they have to go through that, and women too, because they're afraid to share the truth.
Yes.
So I was amazed how he wanted to do it himself, to stay with me and move those girls away. So that's what making me to write this book, and my mom and that friend were motivators.
Well, I want to thank you for coming and being a part of the show. We will close it out with choose whom you will serve. Now, therefore, fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in faithfulness. Put away the gods that your fathers served beyond the river beyond the river and in Egypt, and serve the Lord. And if it is evil in your eyes to serve the Lord, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods of your fathers served in the region beyond the river or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I want to thank my guest, Kristina, for joining us here today, and to the listening audience, thank you. Visit our website at kingdomactionchurch.com. Learn more and consider supporting our continued efforts on bringing a winning world to you each week. Again, that's kingdomactionchurch.com. With love, hugs, and kisses. Until next week. Thank you, Kristina.
Thank you so much, Shermanda. I appreciate every single moment that you allowed me to be here. It's a big pleasure for me. And I believe in God. I believe in the big universe. And I believe that each of us being guided through that. So it's a pleasure to be heard my voice today.
Thank you so much. Blessings.
Blessings. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
It's a fight just to make it to the top. Gotta prove yourself, show 'em what you got. Number one, it's a fight just to make it to the top. Gotta prove yourself and show 'em what you got. Number one, it's a fight just to make it to the top. Gotta prove yourself, show 'em what you got. Number one, it's a fight just to make it to the top. Gotta prove yourself and show 'em what you got. Number one.
Welcome to Educators for Life, a winning world show with Shermanda. Coming to inspire, motivate, encourage, to shed light, and bring hope. We will share testimonies and share stories of people from around the world who have chosen to live triumphant lives on purpose, overcoming adversities. And now, a winning world show with Shermanda.
Gotta prove yourself and show 'em what you got. Number one.